Happy Monday, everybody. So, welcome back to Inspired by Jimmy L, the podcast and YouTube channel. So, you guys know that I kind of got derailed off of my positivity journey earlier this year after losing a parent, and it's been kind of crazy, a little weird. And so, I've been struggling to get back into the flow of what it means to be myself. And so what I'm discovering is that my foundation has always been motivational speakers and podcasts and YouTube channels and things to keep me inspired. And so I've started to kind of get back into being engaging on social media and remembering the things that have always inspired me. And so today is going to be a reaction from a YouTube clip, which is actually by Jeff Bezos. I think this is the first time that I've seen something that truthfully inspired me from him. So that's kind of weird, but I'm like, hey, here we go. If you do want to find it, the full clip is on YouTube. It's called Jeff Bezos, 5 minutes for the next 50 years. Okay, we're only going to play a couple of minutes of it though, so here we go. Let's get right into it.
They want their work life to be. And I said, look, if you can get your work life to be where you enjoy half of it, that is amazing. Because very few people ever achieve that. Because the truth is, everything comes with overhead. That's reality. Everything comes with pieces that you don't like. You could be a Supreme Court justice, and there's still going to be pieces of your job you don't like. Every job comes with pieces you don't like. And we need to say, that's part of it. You have to figure out how to set up your life in such a way that you can minimize the things. And I find people don't dislike hard work. What people dislike is being out of control. Like they can't control their life. They can't control their environment. This happens to me when I get overscheduled. I hate being overscheduled. I want some time to be able to think and free myself. We all have the same amount of time in the world. Nobody has more time than anybody else. And when you become a very successful person, one of the things you start to get overscheduled. So a young person starting their career, I think there are probably a lot of things. Some of them are very well known and people have heard them many times. They're still true. One of those that you should always focus on, a young person should find something that they're passionate about to do. And that's not going to surprise anyone. It's a clear thing to do. It's very hard. If you don't love your work, you're never going to be great at it. The other thing I would suggest to any young person, even before they start their career, is to really think about their choices. Because I find young people, and I when I was young, I made this mistake too. You can get very fixed on your gifts. So everybody has gifts. You know, you have gifts and you have things that you didn't get gifted. Maybe you're extremely beautiful. Maybe you're extremely good at mathematics. There are a lot of things that you could be given. But those things can confuse you because they're not the things that construct your life. It's your choices that construct your life, not your gifts. You can celebrate your gifts. Be proud of them. Be happy of them. Actually, don't be proud of them. Be celebratory of them. But you can't be proud because they're gifts. They were given to you. You didn't earn them. You can only be proud of the things you earn. And so.
Okay, so I had to play that clip. And so I want to make sure that I specify this at the end. I don't necessarily agree with everything that he said in the 2-minute clip. But the ending of that in regards to your gifts, it really got me to thinking about, I cannot think of this lady's name, but the quote that she has. But she stated that God always puts your gifts so close to you so that they're easy to find, but they're quite often the last place that we look. And so that got me to thinking about that and our gifts and being able to cultivate and grow and get our gifts to a point where we can see them and know how to utilize them for our benefits. And so sometimes that can be a little bit of a struggle. You can spend a lifetime searching for your gifts and your passions to try to be able to figure out how to utilize them. You can spend a lifetime doing that. And so I'm really glad that he mentioned that, in regards to your gifts. And so the first portion of that is what really, really drug me to making sure that I wanted to post it on this particular podcast and YouTube video. Is that especially in the corporate world, or when you have a 9 to 5 job, you're gonna always, even I guess even as an entrepreneurship, there's gonna always be a part of what you do that you don't like. And so if you ever get to the point where you like or love 50 to 60% of what you do, you have struck gold in his perspective. And I kind of almost agree with that. I will say that a lot of times we look at the negative and then we make that negative bigger than what it actually is. And we blow it out of proportion. And so for most of us, I do believe that if we look strong enough, if we look close enough, there's probably 50 to 60% about your job that you truthfully love. I'm not saying don't complain about the bad stuff. I'm not saying don't attempt to change the bad stuff, or at least try to influence change of the bad stuff. I'm not saying that at all, because honey, if it's wrong and you see it and you feel it, you may be the one that needs to act on trying to help correct it. So I'm not talking about that at all. But I'm saying do not forget the good. Don't forget the positive. I love to take my job, for instance. There's so much about my job that is great. They pay me decently, quite well, to help my household and my spouse and I to be able to live the lifestyle that we live. That's one. Freedom is, oh, Jesus. My job, my role, it has a lot of responsibilities, but it comes with a lot of freedom to be able to come and go and, having my own private bathroom and office and team and being able to cultivate the environment that I want them to be in. And there's a lot of positives. And so, there's a lot of negatives too. Okay, just want to throw that out there. But that's not the purpose of this show, not today. But there's a lot of positives, and I'm finding that when I don't mention them more frequently, the negative thoughts or the negative pieces of what's going on around me, they tend to creep in. I tend to start complaining about them more. I tend to start fussing and getting frustrated. Quite literally, just about 2 weeks ago, had to start taking these stress gummies, and because stress was starting to really creep back up in my work life, and it's still there, don't want to discount that, but I am building a plan to try to minimize the stress wherever I can. And in order to do that, for me, I have to take those stress gummies, and I'm working on making sure that I focus more on the 50 to 60% of my jobs that I actually love. I love being able to lead my team. Love it. Would not trade them for anything. I love, love, love being able to lead them. So anyway, that's my inspiration. That is my tip for this particular week or this Monday. If you're in a job 9 to 5, try to focus at least a little bit more on the things that are going well. How about that? No matter what you do, make every decision with a level of integrity, darling, because that will lead you to your freedom. I love you guys as always. And until the next video, namaste.